Welcome back to the Investing Talk podcast. Today we're going to be looking at Shoals Technologies Group,
Oh, yeah.
ticker symbol SHLS.
Okay.
They're making some pretty serious moves in the solar energy market,
Yeah.
although not always in the direction that they would like.
Right. Shoals is really interesting because the role that they play is so crucial.
Yeah.
They provide what are called electrical balance of system solutions.
Okay.
And essentially what that is all the components that connect the solar panels to the power grid.
Right. So without Shoals, you don't get that energy to where it needs to go.
Exactly. Like without that connection, all that clean energy just kind of stays potential, you know?
It just sits there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're the crucial link.
Uh-huh.
But their stock price has been taking a little bit of a hit lately, stuck in kind of a downward trend.
Right.
So is Shoals Technologies Group a risk that investors should just avoid?
Mm.
Or could this be like a chance to buy low on what could be a hidden gem?
Well, to figure that out, I think we really need to take a look at their financials.
Yeah, let's do it.
And what we see is a bit of a mixed bag,
Okay.
They posted a massive 49.5% revenue growth in 2023.
That's huge.
That's huge.
That's incredible.
But at the same time, earnings took a nosedive, dropping 68.68% in that same period.
Wow, that's a pretty stark contrast. How do we explain that?
Yeah, what could explain that kind of split?
Yeah.
Well, there are a few possibilities.
Okay.
One could be rising operating costs, which can eat into profits even when sales are booming.
Makes sense.
Another is that maybe they're making strategic investments now that will pay off later,
Okay.
but are impacting their short-term earnings.
So it's not a simple case of good revenue means good company.
Exactly.
You need to look under the hood a little.
Yeah, we need to dig deeper to understand the whole picture.
So to kind of get a handle on their financial health, we like to look at things like market cap, revenue,
Yep.
and net income.
Uh-huh.
So where does Shoals Technologies Group stand on those three?
So right now, Shoals Technologies Group has a market cap of $795.15 million.
Okay.
With a revenue of $422.66 million.
Okay.
And their net income is sitting at $32.89 million.
So those numbers paint a picture of a relatively small player in the market,
Yeah.
but with a lot of growth potential.
Yeah, I think so, especially given that revenue figure.
Especially that revenue figure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's where I think the analyst ratings get really intriguing.
Okay.
Because despite this bearish stock trend,
Yeah.
analysts are giving SHLS a buy rating with an average price target of $9.93.
Wow.
93, but the stock is trading so much lower right now.
Right.
I mean, that's a potential upside of over 108%.
Yeah, what's going on there?
What is going on?
Well, it suggests that the analysts might be seeing something that the market is missing.
Okay.
Maybe they believe the stock is undervalued, or they're very bullish on the long-term prospects of the solar sector as a whole.
Okay.
And they think Shoals is in a good position to benefit from that.
So you have these conflicting signals.
Right.
You have the stock price going down.
Uh-huh.
But you have these analysts that are saying, buy, buy, buy.
Yeah, something's got to give.
So something has to give.
Yeah.
Well, there's a major event coming up that could be a turning point.
Okay.
And that is their fourth quarter 2024 earnings report,
Right.
which is due out on February 26th, 2025.
Okay.
Just a few weeks from now.
Arc your calendars.
So folks, mark your calendars because this earnings report could be big.
Huge.
What are analysts predicting for this quarter?
So the current consensus estimate is earnings of 9 cents per share,
9 cents.
which is actually a 25% decrease compared to the same quarter last year.
Not exactly what investors want to hear.
Yeah, so not necessarily the positive swing that some investors might be hoping for.
Not really a confidence booster.
True, but earnings reports are about more than just one number.
Okay.
Investors are going to be looking at every detail for clues about the company's future direction.
Right.
Will management address the earnings decline head on?
Yeah. Are they going to talk about it?
Yeah. Will they give any updates on their backlog of orders and upcoming projects?
Yeah.
What kind of guidance will they provide for next quarter and the full year?
Those are the things that people are going to be looking
Those
at.
are the things that will really move the needle.
I see why this earnings report is so crucial.
Yeah.
It could either confirm the analysts' optimism or it could force them to rethink their whole thesis on Shoals.
Exactly. It's make or break time.
Wow.
But before we get ahead of ourselves,
Yeah.
let's take a closer look at the technical side of things.
Okay, let's get technical.
Sure.
So right now, SHLS is trading at $4.63 per share. with a 52-week range of $4.07 to $17.50.
Wow.
And we also need to consider the trading volume, which has been pretty high lately. What can we make of these numbers?
Well, the fact that the stock is trading so close to its 52-week low tells us there's definite downward pressure.
Okay.
And the high trading volume,
Yeah.
that could mean a couple of things.
Okay.
It could mean increased investor interest,
Okay.
but it could also signal concern
Uh-huh.
with some investors maybe choosing to sell off their positions.
So not exactly a picture of stability.
Not really, no.
Yeah.
And looking at the moving averages reinforces that bearish sentiment.
Okay.
SHLS is currently trading below both its 50-day and 200-day simple moving averages,
Yeah.
which is kind of a classic sign of a downward trend.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. But we still have one more indicator to look at,
Okay.
and that is the Relative Strength Index, or RSI. And for SHLS, it's currently sitting at 35.3.
Yeah.
Okay. For those who maybe aren't familiar with RS, can you break that down for us a little bit?
Sure.
What does that number tell us about the stock?
So the RSI is a momentum indicator.
Right.
It basically measures how the price has been moving up and down recently to determine if a stock is overbought or oversold.
Okay.
Generally, a reading below 30 is considered oversold,
Okay.
which could signal that a stock is due for a rebound.
So at 35.31,
Right.
SHLS is getting pretty close to that oversold territory, but not quite there yet.
Yeah.
Is this a buying opportunity or is it too early to tell?
That's the million-dollar question, right?
Yeah.
The RSI, combined with those bullish analyst ratings, might look promising to investors who are looking for a bargain, but we can't ignore the bigger picture.
Right.
The Fear and Greed Index is currently at 39, which indicates
Fear. Yeah. I'm sensing a theme here.
Yeah, there's definitely some fear in the market right now. And this widespread market fear can impact even companies with solid fundamentals.
Yeah, even if they're doing well, they could get pulled down with the rest of the market.
Exactly. Even if Shoals Technologies Group has a fantastic product and a great strategy, if investors are nervous and pulling out of the market in general, it's going to feel those effects.
You know, it's that whole rising tide lifts all boats.
Yep.
But a falling tide can take even the strongest swimmers down with it.
Exactly. And on top of that, we need to remember that the solar energy sector itself is facing some headwinds right now, which could be adding to the pressure on Shoals.
So we've got Shoals' own financial performance.
Yeah.
We've got the analyst outlook, upcoming earnings report, the technical indicators, and the broader market sentiment all kind of swirling around here.
It's a lot to take in.
It's a lot to take in. It's like we're trying to solve a puzzle.
Yeah.
Where some of the pieces are missing.
It really is.
But I think we've managed to highlight the most important pieces for our listeners.
I agree.
So we've laid the groundwork.
Yep.
But where do we go from here?
That is the question.
We'll tackle that and more when we return on the Investing Talk podcast.
Sounds good.
Welcome back to the Investing Talk podcast. Before the break, we were talking about Shoals Technologies Group.
Right.
Ticker symbol SHLS. This company that's facing some headwinds.
Yeah.
Even though they're in this growing sector.
Yeah. It's a little bit of a paradox, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're looking at their financial performance.
Yeah.
The kind of intriguing contrast between their stock performance and those optimistic analyst ratings.
Right.
And of course, that make or break upcoming fourth quarter earnings report.
It's a complicated situation.
It is a lot of moving parts.
Yeah. So with all of that in mind, let's get back to the original question.
Okay.
Is Shoals Technologies Group a risky investment that you should just avoid? Or is it a potential hidden gem that's just waiting to be discovered?
Yeah, I mean, if you just look at the recent stock performance, it's understandable why some investors might be hesitant.
Yeah, nobody likes to see their portfolio in the red.
Exactly. But then you have these analysts who are painting a much brighter picture with their buy rating and that impressive price target, suggesting that they see a strong potential for a rebound.
Yeah.
It's almost as if they're looking at the situation through a totally different lens.
Yeah.
You know, focusing on the long-term potential of the company and of the solar sector as a whole.
And they're betting on the bigger picture.
They are. They're betting on the bigger picture. They're factoring in things like the increasing demand for renewable energy, government incentives for solar installations, Shoals' competitive position within the industry. They see those long-term trends as more significant than the current market jitters.
And we can't forget about that upcoming earnings report.
Right.
I mean, that could be the thing that either confirms the analyst's optimism or sends the stock tumbling even further.
Yeah, it could go either way.
Yeah, it really could.
It's a pivotal moment for sure.
Yeah.
If Shoals Technologies Group can show that they're dealing with the earnings decline,
Right.
if they're securing new projects,
Yeah.
if they're providing some positive guidance for the future,
Yeah.
it could reignite that investor confidence
Yeah.
and potentially spark a turnaround.
So it's like this tug of war.
Yeah.
You have the bearish signals, and then you have the bullish expectations.
Right, it's a tough call.
So what's the bottom line for our listeners?
Yeah. What should they do with this information?
Well, first of all, it's important to remember that neither of us is offering financial advice.
Right. We're not financial advisors.
Investment decisions should always be based on your individual financial situation, risk tolerance, and your investment goals.
Exactly. We're just here to provide information and insights.
Yeah. We just lay it all out.
But ultimately, the decision is yours.
You have to make the call.
Right. That being said, I think the key takeaway here is that Shoals Technologies Group presents both risks and potential rewards.
Yeah.
It's not a simple yes or no answer.
It's complicated.
It requires careful consideration and thorough due diligence.
It sounds like this is not a stock for someone who's not willing to do their research.
Yeah, I would agree with that if the potential upside intrigues you, but the risks make you nervous.
Uh-huh.
One approach is to maybe wait for that fourth quarter earnings report before making any decisions.
Okay.
That way you'll have a little bit more information to work with, and you can see whether the company's performance kind of aligns with those analyst expectations.
So wait and see, get a little bit more data.
Yeah, waiting for more data is often a good strategy.
Especially when you're dealing with a volatile stock like this.
Exactly. And even if you decide to invest,
Yeah.
it's important to stay informed.
Absolutely.
Stay informed about the company, the industry, the broader market trends. Remember, things can change very quickly in the world of investing. Flexibility and continuous learning are key.
That's excellent advice.
Yeah.
Stay informed. Do your research. Make decisions that align with your own investment strategy.
Exactly.
Now, before we move on, I want to remind our listeners that we'll be diving deeper into the specifics of the solar industry.
Yes.
And its potential impact on companies like Shoals Technologies Group.
After the break.
So stay tuned. Welcome back to the Investing Talk podcast. We've been really getting into the details of Shoals Technologies Group, ticker symbol SHLS, and, weighing the risks and the potential rewards for investors.
Trying to figure out, is this a buy or is this a sell?
Yeah, is this a company that we should be excited about, or should we be running for the hills?
Right, and we've looked at a lot of different angles here. We have their financials, the analyst ratings, the technical indicators, all of that.
Yep.
But there's one more layer to this whole thing, and that's the solar industry itself.
Right, because even if Shoals does everything perfectly, they're still going to be impacted by what's going on in the broader industry.
Exactly. They don't exist in a vacuum.
Right.
So let's kind of zoom out for a minute and think about the big picture.
Okay, so give us the rundown of what's happening in the solar industry right now.
So overall, I'd say the solar industry is on an upward trajectory.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, the demand for renewable energy is just skyrocketing globally.
That makes sense.
You have concerns about climate change, the push for energy independence.
Right.
We're seeing governments all over the world implementing policies to really encourage people to use solar.
Yeah.
Whether it's tax breaks or subsidies or direct investments in infrastructure.
So it sounds like solar's got a pretty bright future.
It does, but it's not all sunshine and rainbows.
Oh, there's got to be some clouds somewhere.
There are definitely some challenges.
Like what?
Well, one of the biggest ones is the volatility of government policies. I mean, incentives can change, regulations can shift, tariffs can be imposed.
And that makes it hard for companies to plan?
It creates a lot of uncertainty.
Okay, so political risk is a factor.
Big time.
Okay, what else?
Another challenge is just the competition.
Okay.
The solar industry is getting really crowded these days.
Oh, wow.
Lots of new players emerging all the time.
So that means that Shoals can't just rest on their laurels?
Exactly. They've got to constantly innovate and stay ahead of the curve if they want to keep their market share.
So how should investors factor all of this into their thinking about Shoals?
Well, I think it's all about context.
Okay.
If you believe that the solar industry is going to keep growing despite these challenges, then Shoals, with its really key role in that ecosystem, could be in a great spot to benefit.
Okay.
But if you're not so sure about the long-term prospects of solar,
Yeah.
or if you're really uncomfortable with all the uncertainty around government policies, then even a perfect execution by Shoals might not be enough.
They might get swept up in all of that.
Exactly. So it's not just about looking at Shoals individually. It's about understanding their place in this whole industry.
So big picture and small picture.
Yeah, exactly. You got to connect those dots.
All right, so we've done a lot today.
We have.
We've gone over the financials, we've talked about the analyst ratings, we've dove into the technical indicators, and now we've looked at the solar industry as a whole.
We've covered a lot of ground.
So what's the final verdict on Shoals Technologies Group?
Well, I think we've been pretty clear that there's no easy answer here.
Yeah.
This isn't a stock you buy or sell just because of how you feel.
Right.
It takes real analysis.
Yeah.
You have to look at the industry and your own personal investment goals.
It sounds like this is a stock for investors who do their homework.
I would say so, yes.
But for those who are willing to put in the time, it seems like Shoals presents a really interesting case study.
Yeah, in how a company's performance can be tied to what's going on in the wider industry.
And that's really what investing is all about, isn't it?
It is.
It's not just about picking stocks.
Nope.
It's about understanding how the markets work and making smart decisions based on research.
And a little bit of healthy skepticism.
Absolutely. Well, that's what we try to do here on the Investing Talk podcast.
We do our best.
So thanks for joining us today for this look at Shoals Technologies Group. Don't forget to subscribe to the Investing Talk podcast, share this episode with your friends, and leave a comment with your thoughts on Shoals Technologies Group. Until next time, happy investing.